Hey, my name is Rhett, and this is Pallet Town. I grew up here, next door to Ruby T. He's one of my best friends, next to you, of course. And today was a very special day. Today was the day that Ruby and I got to meet our very first Pokemon. For me, my first Pokemon was an Eevee, and I named him Eevee. Eevee and I got along right from the start. We were the best of buds. But Ruby knows a lot more about Pokemon than I do. So when he challenged me to a battle, I really wasn't sure what to expect. But I guess I was pretty excited because I threw Eevee head first into it. I always sort of looked up to the professor's grandson, Blue. So ever since the day he set out on his Pokemon journey, I've wanted to do the same thing. And now that I had Eevee with me, I knew today was the day. Our very first catch was a Pidgey that we named Flip. Our next stop was Route 22, where we were hoping to find our next Pokemon. We found a Nidoran, and after my mother. I guess Ruby was also looking for new Pokemon on Route 22, because we ran into them there too. He insisted on another battle. This guy never gives it a rest. He sent out his Pidgey, so we sent Flip out. Turns out Flip was a much tougher bird than his Pidgey. He sent out his Pikachu, so I knew it was time to send in Eevee. I think our Pokemon are becoming rivals too. His Pikachu was fast, and he hit hard with its electric attacks. But Eevee was up to it. I don't think Ruby was ready for us to win the right way. Now, one of the things that you have to know about catching Pokemon is that you can only catch one Pokemon per route. This is because of the Pokemon Game Commission's rules. I guess if everybody just caught as many as they wanted, the Pokemon population would decrease too quickly. We wanted to make sure that we didn't run into an encounter here because we wanted to save it for later. Make sure we got the right one. So, very carefully, we snuck around the grass. Viridian Forest is supposed to be full of rare and valuable Pokemon, but it's also full of trainers. This particular trainer was a bug catcher. He sent out a Weedle. I sent in Flip. I didn't think we'd have any problems. Unfortunately, Weedle hung on and returned a poison sting. This had me worried, but I knew Flip could finish it off. As soon as the battle was done, I rushed Flip back to the Pokemon Center. But on my way, I accidentally ran into a Weedle. This uses up my encounter for Route 2, so I guess I'd better catch it. I gave it a name that reflected its abilities, and swore to never speak of it again. Back at the Pokemon Center, we got everybody healed up, and then it was right back to Viridian Forest for our next encounter. And it was a good one. It was a huge Bulbasaur. Now you may not know, but especially large Pokemon give more experience to the rest of your Pokemon in the party. We named our Bulbasaur Tiny. Our next stop was Pewter City's Pokemon Gym. This is Brock. Brock is the gym leader in Pewter City, and he is no pushover. Nothing like the amateur trainers we've faced so far. This would turn out to be our hardest battle yet. He led off with a Geodude. Now, I knew that Tiny had a type advantage here, but I also knew that Brock had another Pokemon in the back, so I started with Ant. This thing hit pretty hard. We growled the Geodude down, make its attacks less painful. After the third growl, its attack started to feel a lot more manageable. So we went for a Poison Sting, and on our very first one, we got a lucky poison on the Geodude. This was how we were going to get past its rock-solid defense. Still, we were taking a beating, and I started to worry that one lucky crit would take Anne out of the battle entirely. So I switched her out, and I sent in Flip. Now Flip does have a type disadvantage to Geodude, but so far we hadn't seen it use any rock moves. And Flip knows how to fight dirty. We started kicking sand in its eyes to lower its accuracy and make it even harder for it to do any damage. We slowly wore it down with the poison while we kicked up more and more sand into the air and made it harder and harder for the Geodude to find its target. Still, it wasn't long before I started to worry about Flip's health too. I really didn't want to lose Flip, and I sent out Tiny. I wanted to make sure Tiny got as much experience as possible. Unfortunately, he didn't take any damage. So we switched Tiny back out, and this time we sent in Eevee. Geodude missed again, and it finally succumbed to the poison. Brock's next Pokemon was Onix. I started off the same way, lowering its attacks, but it still hit like a truck. It threw rock after rock at us, and these rocks were no joke. They were doing a lot of damage. Eevee and I were committed to our strategy. We growled its strength down as low as we could get it, and when I finally started to worry that we were in range, that one crit would take us out, we switched out into Tiny. Tiny can take the rock throws reasonably well, and also knew how to growl, but I was really hoping that Tiny's type advantage would give us the advantage we needed against this Onix. We went for our big Vine Whip, and it did nothing. This was a problem. Even at -6 attack, Onix was doing more damage to us than we were doing to him. So we called Tiny back. Brock was nice enough to let us have a couple turns with no Pokemon on the field at all, while we considered our next plan. We decided to send in Flip. We knew this was dangerous. Even 2 well-thrown rocks would take Flip right out of the game. But we started firing off sand attacks, hoping against hope that we could lower Onix's accuracy enough that it would start to miss. We considered switching Flip out, but who would we switch to? Everyone was at too low health to take a rock throw. So with a heavy heart, we decided there was nothing to do but leave Flip in. But Onix missed its next throw, and we got off another sand attack. Now at -3 accuracy, I started to think we still needed some way to get past its defenses. So I decided to switch to Anne and fire off a Poison Sting, hoping against hope for a poison. Unfortunately, we didn't get it. So we kept trying, and trying, and trying. And then Onyx caught us in a bind, and we still hadn't landed the poison. This was bad. This meant that no matter what we did, Anne couldn't switch out. There was no way to save her. So we kept trying, hoping to at least make her sacrifice worthwhile and land a poison. At the very last opportunity, we managed. Anne was on her last legs and took one final headbutt. And with that, we lost our very first Pokemon, Anne. She will be remembered fondly. So it was time to send in Tiny to finish things off. Onyx failed to hit us again. And this time, our Vine Whip was doing just enough to put it in range of the poison. And there it was. With one heartbreaking loss, we had defeated Brock. And that brings me to now, standing here talking with you. Thanks for listening. That was the story of my very first day as a Pokemon trainer, how Eevee and I earned our very first badge, and I'm sure there will be lots more good stories to come. I hope you'll come back here and listen to more of them very, very soon. Hey guys, this was pretty different from what I usually do around here, and it was a fair bit of work, so if you liked it, please let me know. My friend Ruby T is also running a Nuzlocke right now, and if you'd like to check that out, it'll be linked in the box on the right.